Hello everyone and welcome back to Seduce Me the Otome. Last time we left off, we decided to go with Sam's route because he got the most comments on the first video. So we're about to have a party with our parents, so let's continue. Let me take a sip first. I could practically feel my dad's aura from behind the door. Sam and Eric quickly rushed to the doors and opened the double doors wide to reveal my parents, both dressed in their best. Hey Mom, hey Dad.
Oh my, I didn't know your bequeathment came with servants.
It was probably overlooked. Besides, who would deny good service?
I was shocked. My parents didn't question the boys. They didn't ask for verification or anything. I looked to the boys and noticed Sam and Eric staring intently at my parents. Were they using their powers on them? They had to be. There'd be no way they'd be okay with this otherwise.
I guess the servants counted as belongings to the house.
My mother quickly rushed to me and gave me a large hug. I hugged her back, inhaling her perfume. It had only been a couple of days, but living away from the ones who raised me was hard. My mother soon let me go and looked at my outfit.
Gorgeous. You look so lovely. David, look at your daughter and tell her I'm right.
I looked to my dad, who was looking around the lobby like an inspector. I stood my ground, waiting for him to look at me. When he did, he let out a small smile grace his lips.
Your mother's right. You look like you're all grown up.
The world around me stopped as my heart pounded hard in my chest. Did my dad just compliment me? On his own accord. My mother was grinning ear to ear at his words. I was beyond speechless. Thank you, Daddy. However, his cold face quickly returned as he began to look around once again.
I assume that you're ready, then, to impress the rest of the guests, correct?
What do you mean?
The entire board from Anderson Toys is coming tonight. Even the vice chairman's son will be coming. All of them will be measuring your potential.
My potential?
To become CEO of the company.
I knew it. Something was off about tonight, and this party had become pretty much more than I anticipated. I gulped silently, but I nodded in response. I linked to the incubi, but they were continuing to be stirrupins for my father's approval. I looked behind me and saw Naomi and Suzu raise their thumbs at me for encouragement. I let out a small breath before feeling my body accept the situation. I felt a weight in my gut, but I had to hide it. As if time zoomed forward, all of a sudden the main hall of the lobbies was full of guests. Men and women in formal or business attire showed up to meet me and see my new home. I didn't expect many to come, but I was once again surprised that night. I took hands with many officials and executive members, putting on my professional face my dad trained me to have. I felt overwhelmed, but I hid well behind a small smile and a handshake. Also, excuse the noise in the background, I am also doing laundry at the same time. Many even asked me questions. I tried my best to reply as maturely as possible. I had to remember, say what you want to hear, not what you want to say.
So, how do you feel living on your own at such a young age?
I'm doing
I'm
my
so
best.
sorry about your grandfather passing away. It really hit all of us hard.
Thank you for your condolences.
Do you have college plans?
Yes, I do. I feel like the questions come one after another. It was tough to answer some of them because they weren't about me. They were about the company.
What do you think will happen with the company now that your grandfather has passed?
We'll get back on track.
What do you think of the philanthropic policy the company has?
It's a policy that reflects
Do you
my
think
own
the company
values.
should expand from just toys?
It's a possibility. Eventually the question stopped and I was able to back to being myself. Naomi and Suzu were mingling in the crowds and the incubi were doing their job, so I was all alone in a room full of strangers. It was unnerving to think about, but at least I wasn't being questioned left and right anymore. Suddenly, though, my mom pushed her way through the crowd to me, bringing along someone I didn't know.
Honey, I'd like to introduce you to someone.
With my mother stood a man who looked only a couple of years older than me. He smiled and held out his hand to me, silently asking for my hand.
Hi, I'm Andrew Lewis. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Anderson.
Place your hand. As I placed my hand in his, he raised it to his lips and kissed over my knuckles. I felt my face burn slightly at the gesture. Andrew smiled at me before releasing my hand.
I'm honored to be invited here.
My mother smiled at us, which made me slightly concerned. Why was she excited to introduce me to Andrew?
So, you organized this party very well, Miss Anderson.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Praise is very much deserved.
Andrew then chuckled, nervously, bringing a soft fist to his lips to cover his laugh properly before smiling at me.
I'm sorry if I seem a little forward. I've just been excited to meet Harold Anderson's granddaughter.
Huh? Why?
He used to talk about you all the time in the office on how you helped him refine his toys. I only attended meetings and heard all of the stories. You've helped a lot with the success of the company without having to actually work there.
Oh wow, I didn't know he talked about me. That would explain everyone's fascination with me and their rather personal questions. I looked at Andrew, who had a kind face to me. Something about him seemed off and I didn't know what it was. He seemed to be hiding something. Whether it was good or bad, I wasn't able to find out. I felt someone walk up behind me, causing me to turn to them. Next to me was my dad, giving his cold stare to Andrew, who suddenly became tense.
So, you're Jared's son.
Andrew's body twitched slightly, whether it was fear or insult. Andrew locked eyes with my father. I couldn't help but feel the tension between them. It irked me how fragile the air had become, enough to break at the wrong word.
You're the one who wants to be the next CEO of the Ant.
Well,
I stared at Andrew. This guy wanted to take my grandfather's place as CEO. I thought the vice chairman wanted the position.
well,
David, leave the poor boy alone.
I'm merely testing the boy's conversational skills. Nothing wrong with that.
of course not, sir.
And polite as well. Interesting.
If you'll excuse me.
Yeah, I'd fucking run too. Peace. Stay put. Fine. I watched as he disappeared into the crowd towards the back of the house. I was worried, but I gave him space. He obviously needed it.
He's not CEO material.
I didn't click on that. Okay.
That's because you practically interrogated the young man.
A little questioning shouldn't have bothered him. He's obviously not ready for any title in our company.
I bit my tongue. I didn't want to make a scene with my dad. One wrong word and he'd lecture me in front of everyone. That was not something I wanted at a housewarming party. I let out a sigh before looking at the clock. It was getting close to midnight, meaning that the party was going to end soon. I lowered my gaze out of the window and saw a limo pull up. Huh? Whose limo is that?
Oh, that must be Lewis's car.
I'll go get him. Stay with your father so you can escort your guests out together.
Yes, Mom. My mother left my dad and me to slowly escort the guests out. My dad held his simple smile and thanked each person for coming. I did the same. Andrew quickly passed the doors before I could speak. Eventually, only Suzu, Naomi, my parents, and the incubi were left. My dad suddenly walked over and placed a hand on my shoulder with a smile. I stared up at him, a wave of confusion washing over my face. What?
You did good tonight. I'm proud.
Oh, thank you, Dad.
Keep it up, and you'll be a good CEO.
Oh, right.
All right. Your mother and I have to leave. I'm sure Naomi and Suzu need to leave as well. Just because it's Saturday doesn't mean you should stay up all night.
Don't tell me what to do. Oh, right.
Thanks for having us. It was a great party. We'll come visit tomorrow or something. All right?
Right, see ya.
Good night, sweetie. Come visit us soon.
Will do. All four of my remaining guests left the building, all but my dad waving back to me. With the last of the guests gone, I sighed and sat on the staircase, exhausted. Phew, that was tiring.
It's not like you had to do any work, though.
Give her a break, man. She was getting interrogated left and right.
She handled herself the best she could.
As expected, Princess.
Since you're exhausted, why not head to bed? We can clean up.
Ugh.
Hush, Sam.
Are you guys sure?
Positive. It shouldn't take long.
Ho ho ho! It didn't take long to find you little shits after all.
I felt a hot shudder run down my spine. The voice from my dreams echoed through the air into my ears. I looked around, panicked, alongside the incubi. James placed a hand on my shoulder, trying to remain calm.
Don't worry. No one will hurt you.
Are you sure? Are you really sure?
All of us shot our heads towards the door, finally pinning down the direction of the voice, revealing a sight I never expected to see. Sorry, as I shuffle things. around. Skin red as blood, eyes black and gold piercing into mine, rough and up close and a pistol in his hand. I saw a monster. I covered my mouth to not scream at the sight. Dried blood covered the bandana around his neck as he smirked at me and the boys around me. Beside the red-skinned man was a similar-looking woman in matching thug-like clothes.
Oh, what's the matter, boys? You really didn't think I wouldn't find you, did you?
I hoped you would, you piece of...
All of a sudden, the man raised his gun at Sam's face and instantly pulled the trigger. We all gasped in shock, instinctively expecting to see a bullet run through Sam's face, but...
What the fuck?
What?
What should have been a headshot ended with a loud, empty, blank shot. The pistol echoed in his chamber as the man grew more and more pissed, pulling the trigger over and over in aggravation. Luckily for my ears, it became quieter after its first shot.
Why the fuck won't you work?
This place is protected.
What did you say, Shrimp?
This place has a seal, protecting it from hellborn magic.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Ah!
The man growled and threw his gun at Sam, who was able to dodge it in time. The pistol bounced off the ground a couple of times before sliding further away, hitting the wall in a final stop. As it stopped moving, the gun faded into black flame, then disappeared into the air.
The previous owner had this place protected by magic, Malix.
Malix. That was his name. His existence resonated in my memory from the dream I had. However, I looked to Matthew in the same confusion as Malix did. This place is protected by magic?
It would seem that your grandfather had some sort of protective barrier around this house. From the looks of it, it only disables hellborn magic.
Malix's face grew to that of extreme anger, his fist tightening as if he was crushing a stress ball.
Then what's stopping me from dragging your asses out and shooting you then?
Out of pure instinct, I stepped forward and placed myself between Malix and the boys. With no power, Malix wasn't going to fight. I took the chance to stand up to him instead of being powerless like I was in the dream. Fuck off! Malix suddenly laughed wildly, staring at me in disbelief.
Whoa! Who let the bitch out of her cage? What is this? A reverse harem or something?
Malix grinned at me evilly, walking close to me. I ducked underneath Malix's incoming hand. I stared at his hand and his black flame tattoo in surprise as I took a couple steps back from Malix. Matthew and Damien stepped in front of me, guarding me from Malix with their arms.
A quick one. I'm liking you more and more.
Back off, Malix!
Don't start acting tough, you pathetic excuse of a demon. You need more protection than her.
Shut up!
Oh, did I make the little Matthew cry?
Enough, Malix!
The woman, who had been standing in silence the whole time, planted a firm hand on Malix's shoulder. Malix looked back at her with a growl and glare that could kill.
Since when did you get the guts to speak out of place?
We both know you've never controlled me. I want them dead just like you do. But now's not the time.
Fuck off! I know what I'm doing.
Do you? Even if you did fight them, there's 5 against 2. We never win.
Shut up!
Let's go, Malix! We're wasting our time!
The two growled at each other. If they could have used magic, they could sense the fire glow from under their teeth. Malix grunted and glared at the boys. He pointed at James, wanting so badly to use his fingers like a knife.
Just wait, pretty boys. We'll get you and fuck you up real good.
Then Malix turned to me, moving his finger to point directly between my eyes.
And don't think you're safe. Step outside. I dare you.
With that, Malix and the woman walked out of the mansions, the door just closing behind them, leaving the boys and I alone once again. I felt my knees give out from under me, forcing the boys to quickly turn to catch me.
Whoa! Are you alright?
Yeah, why was he here?
He's been closely tracking us. Our blood trail from the forest must have led him here.
We should have stopped him and finished it here.
For once, Matthew, I agree with you.
I stood up and rubbed my arms, feeling the goosebumps Malik's left behind on me. I couldn't stop myself from shivering in fear of his words. Malik's, was he a demon?
That son of a bitch is not a demon. He's a devil.
A devil? There's a difference.
Yes. Demons come from a different plane of existence called the abyssal planes. Devils, however, come from one of the 7 circles of a place humans know as hell. Despite us not being human, we are very different creatures.
We actually have brains, for one. Devils always like to cause trouble and try to kill or torture others for their own enjoyment. Demons, like us, know when to use our powers and when not to. We're not stupid.
Devils follow orders from higher-ups in their order, and their power only comes from their connection to hell. Demons all have free wills and don't rely on where they came from to use their powers.
This is all so confusing. Demons and devils and magic all existed, and I happened to land in the middle of it. What do we do?
You're safe. You've been protected as well.
What?
What Damien's saying is that the magic that protects this place also protects you.
Your grandfather must have cast it when you last saw him or something of that nature. We can sense its aura around your body.
I couldn't believe my ears. It was the 3rd day of surprises, and this one took the cake in being the most surprising. I felt my head spin once again. What did I get myself into?
Miss, please don't worry. We'll find a way to train ourselves and become stronger to finally finish this feud.
I'm gonna kick his ass right now!
Right meow.
Until then, we'll protect you as much as we can. If Malik comes back, we'll be here for you.
But what about going outside? Won't he?
Like we said, you have a protection spell on you. Even if Malix attacks you, he won't be able to use his magic on you. He'd be just like any other human you can fight back against.
Didn't you say you knew Taekwondo?
Well, yeah. I felt somewhat relieved that I'm mostly safe from Alex. Still, I couldn't help but feel very nervous and apprehensive about the future. The boys were safe to train here and become stronger, but what if Malix did the same? Even more so, I was lost about how my grandfather knew about magic. I had to find out. At least I had time. I went to bed that night feeling nervous. Despite the words of the incubi, I felt like a target of something I'd never been able to explain or prove. Magic, devils, demons. How did this all even happen? Should I really meddle with the situation? They're only staying until after they defeat Malix. That's right. They said they'd only stay until after they defeated Malix. After that, my life would go back to normal. Temporary insanity, as Kay would say. The question was, then, what would I want them to leave? If my life went back to normal, then I'd have to care for my house all on my own. I'd get the focus on my life instead of being distracted by the boys. I'd have to. My life... Where was my life going, anyway? I was under pressure from my parents, with only my friends and the boys to comfort me. Without the boys, I'd have no way to hide from my responsibilities. Enough. Let's just sleep and deal with it tomorrow when it comes. Defeating my sense of thought, I forced myself to sleep, unsure of what tomorrow had planned for me. Hopefully, whatever the future had for me, I would be ready for it.
I promise to be with you forever. You're so important to me.
I swear I'll give my life to you.
Please, let me love you.
I'll be by your side, always.
I can't imagine living without you.
I want to be with you.
I love you.
I slowly opened my eyes, letting the voices of my dream echo in my head and force me awake. I rubbed my eyes before sitting up and looking at my clock. 7 a.m. Why am I up so early? I fell back onto the bed and closed my eyes, trying to get back to sleep. However, something kept me awake. Why? It's too early to even be alive. That's how I feel about anything past 11. I mean, before 11. I gave up and sat up, staring at the fireplace across my bed. A sigh escaped between my lips before I threw my legs over the side of the bed. What to do at 7 in the morning? I don't know, make me explore. Well, come on, feet, let's go on an adventure. I stood and exited my room, hoping that the boys were still asleep. I began to wander the halls on the end of the house. I have the hiccups. Opening each door to find what room each door led to. Quickly, I found an old office. A desk and chair sat by the far side as... Oh, God damn it. As a large bookshelf of documents and memorabilia donned its nooks and crannies. There was a couple of pictures of me growing up peeking from the shelf as I walked further into the room. I don't believe I've been in here before. Fucking hiccups. I tried to recall memories of even seeing this room, coming up with nothing as a result. The room was new to me. Did I want to disturb the furniture? I'm curious. I gently opened the shelves and any drawers I saw in the room. In a couple of them were books and even sewing kits. I assumed they were used for my grandfather's toys, so I left them alone. One drawer, however, was locked, no matter how many times I pulled. Come on, open. Nothing, it wouldn't budge. The drawer beside it, though, did reveal a laptop. Why is there a laptop in a drawer? I lifted it from the drawer and carried it over to the desk, opening it. It was a high-tech laptop with a retina scanner as a pass lock. I wasn't sure whether or not to try and unlock it or not. Try it. I decided to try. I turned on the computer and leaned my face near the retina scanner, lining the camera up with my eye. To my surprise, I heard a ping come from the computer before the screen opened to a desktop. Look at that. On the desktop were documents and folders labeled with different aspects of the Anderson company. Taxes, profits, bylaws, products. The list went on and on. If I really did want to become the CEO of the Anderson Toy Company, I had everything about it at my fingertips. Dad would sure be impressed. One icon, however, stood out from the rest. Virago? I double-clicked the icon, but no window came up. Instead, I heard a large click come from the drawer that was locked. What the? I slowly left my seat and walked over to the drawer, attempting to open it again. It slid open smoothly in the direction of my pulling hand, revealing 2 books. One was a plain black journal with a tie to keep it closed. The other was bound in leather with cryptic symbols all over the cover. I looked at the journal and skimmed through it, seeing my grandfather's notes. They were all detailed explanations and opinions on his finding demon magic. He really did know about demon magic. I sat down at the desk and read through the journal further, finding drawings and sketches of symbols and magic circles, each with their own different meanings and effects. It was all fascinating. There were even pages of important spells to know. I read through them, trying to memorize them into my mind. I don't know what came over me, but I started to feel more energetic and more powerful simply reading my grandfather's notes. I was suddenly aware of the energy that surrounded my body and the power that was around the house. The more I read, the more powerful I became. However, my mind suddenly froze, and I found myself walking back to the drawer, putting the book back and closing the drawer. The lock reset, and I snapped out of it. Huh? What? I shook my head and looked to the drawer, realizing what I had done. I walked over to the desk to reopen the lock, but suddenly felt the need to stop. Something held me back and didn't want me to pry any more than I already had. I was curious beyond belief, but I obeyed my thoughts for now. Eventually, I would come back and look into it. I returned to my bed, feeling the weight of the morning drag me under the covers to try and sleep again. I had energy, but I wanted more sleep. It was Sunday and nothing was happening today. Come on, eyes, back to sleep. I shut my eyes and tried to slow my breathing. I looked at my phone to check the time once again. It was noon, yet it felt like I had slept for much longer. Why is time going so slowly? I sighed, got changed into normal clothes, and went out of the main hall and sat on the stairs. Sundays were very boring. However, the muffled sounds of battle caught my attention. Huh? I quickly went out to the backyard in response to the noise I had heard. In the yard were all 5 boys practicing fighting. Sam was in the middle with the other 4 surrounding him and throwing punches and kicks. Sam, being the strongest of the bunch, blocked and dodged each almost masterfully. Don't disturb. I just watched. The boys were very much in their own world, focusing on training all they were in. It was better not to disturb them. I checked the time and decided to head into the kitchen. I was getting hungry, and I'm sure the boys would need to eat soon, so lunch was a must. Might as well make lunch today. It's been a while since I cooked. Lunch wasn't particularly hard. I decided to make pizza. Pizza's always good, no matter what time of day it is, even morning. Do we have any? Luckily, we had some pizza in the freezer to heat up. Pizza Mores, baked with love pizza, had all the markings of pizza types, including pepperoni, sausage, mushrooms, and extra cheese. Just top it, bake it, and serve. I'd have to get more later. I placed the food in the dining room. However, none of the boys were there by the time I brought the final dish out. I carried the dish to the main lobby, catching the boys separating into different rooms of the house. Part of me wanted to go into one particular. The other one wanted me to leave them be and take the food in my hand to my room and eat. Maybe I could go out today while the boys focused on training. Find one of the incubi. I quickly rushed back and grabbed a second food dish before hunting down one of the boys. I looked down each hall, trying to find out one of the incubi wandering so that I wouldn't have to go through each individual room finding them. I pursed my lip in irritation. Where the heck were they? I sighed, knowing that I would have to search for them in each room. I turned my head down the west hall before I suddenly bumped into an opening door face first. Oof!
Whoa! What the?
I quickly stepped back, regaining my balance on my feet and with the food in my hands. The last thing I wanted was food on the floor. I shook my head, looking up to Sam, looking at me from behind the door in surprise. Being that I only saw his face, he was wet, so I assumed the door led to a bathroom he was exiting from.
Oh, crap. Are you alright?
Yeah, I brought food. The hell? Why did I say that? I shook my head and acted like I knew what I said. Sam raised an eyebrow before looking to the food I brought.
Oh, hey. Thanks.
You're welcome. As Sam stepped out from behind the door and closed it, I was suddenly face to face with a shirtless and freshly cleaned Sam. A simple towel was hung over his shoulders as he looked at me. I remained unfrozen, unable to tear my eyes away from the sight. Damn, was he ripped?
Hey, you alright? Hello?
What? Sam let out a smirk appear on his lips before tapping my forehead with his finger. It was light, but I still felt pressure from it to push me back a bit on my feet.
You gonna give me my food, or do you plan to keep staring into space like a nut job?
Oh, right, here. I quickly gave Sam his food, glaring at him. He chuckled before quickly dropping to the floor and crossing his legs to sit. I did a double take down at him before joining him to eat. I was so hungry, so might as well. Sam must have been hungry because he practically scarfed all of his food down before I could get 2 bites out of mine. Jeez, you eat fast.
Oh, sorry. It was good, yeah.
It's good, thanks. Sam sat in silence, waiting for me to finish. It was odd. It wasn't far from having a dog watch you while you ate. Nevertheless, I finished my food quicker than I normally did and looked to Sam, who somehow got his shirt and vest on while I wasn't looking. Damn, was he fast.
Alright then, I'm heading up to the roof.
Roof? Roof? He was heading to the roof? Why? What? The roof?
Yeah. Wanna come with?
Hold on, he wanted me to join him on the roof? The roof of a huge mansion? Why?
I promise you won't fall, or whatever. Okay?
Okay. I didn't know I was up for this, but I said okay. The small, adventurous side of me was very happy with my decision, but another side of me was screaming at me, asking me why I did that. Sam took the empty dishes and placed them on a nearby stand before walking to a nearby window and looking to me. Wait, a window?
Come on.
I walked towards Sam, unsure of what he wanted to do. As I stepped to his side, he wrapped a tight arm around my waist and hugged me against his side. Whoa!
Better hold on tight.
I instantly wrapped my arms around Sam as he opened the window and stepped up on the ledge. I could feel him tighten his grip on me as he looked up and grabbed the end of the roof with his free hand. I gripped tightly to him as he somehow was able to pull both of us up onto the roof with that one hand. He lifted me to the roof first before pulling himself up and sitting with a content sigh.
See? I told you I wouldn't let you fall.
Yeah. I sat up beside Sam, trying to shake off what had happened. He was a demon, and I had to remember that no matter how human he looked.
Pretty sight, huh?
I raised my eyebrow before looking ahead of us. I gasped. The sight truly was beautiful. The estate was settled on a high hill, so the view I saw made me feel like I was flying. I could see Chicago in the distance, surrounded by forests and suburbs like the ones I resided in. Something about the sight took my breath away. I silently thanked my adventurous side for taking the rest to come up here.
You know, it's things like this that make the human world worth coming to.
I turned to Sam at his statement, unsure of what he meant. He kept his eyes to the view, but I could see very soft amazement in his eyes. What do you mean?
I'm not like my brothers. I didn't come to get away from anything or to fulfill something. Whatever they may tell you their reasons were, I came because, well, they're my brothers. And that's that. However, I didn't expect the human world to be so pretty.
I didn't understand. The brothers were running from something more than just Malix? What could have possibly driven them from where they were? You all ran from something?
We all had our reasons for leaving the Abyssal Plains. James didn't want to deal with his problems. Matthew wanted to live with humans more than demons. I came because I didn't want to be without my brothers. So I left with them.
That's rather sweet, if you think about it.
It doesn't matter. I came, so here I am.
I frowned and bit my lips slightly. I wasn't sure if he even wanted to be here with how he was answering. Still, I felt a small wave of confidence drive me to scoot closer to Sam. I wanted to try to be friends. Fate didn't like that, apparently. I found myself losing my balance and wound up starting to fall off the roof. Ah!
Whoa!
Instantly, Sam grabbed me and pulled me to him. He wrapped his arms around me, making sure I wasn't able to fall back down the roof. But that wasn't what made me blush wildly from ear to ear. I had somehow landed and straddled over his lap. He was hugging me close to his chest. It was almost like a romance scene in a love story. I couldn't tear my eyes away from Sam as he stared up at me in concern.
I gotcha. You okay?
Yes, I am. However, I continued to look down at him as he stared up at me. Neither of us knew what to do, and I could feel that we were both lost in that fact. As we looked at each other, Sam's face grew slightly red.
Hey, I might as well say it now, but sorry for being a dick when we met.
You really want to say that word when I'm right on top of it, you know? I must have been dreaming. Sam was being sincere? Why? However, as I stared, I could feel his strength weaken. He was shaking, but continued to hold me to keep me from falling. Sam, do you need energy? Sam's eyes widened before he looked away, refusing to answer, but refusing to let me go. I didn't feel any energy drain, so he wasn't trying to take advantage of the situation. That's what he needed. He needed energy, but should I give it? Yes, Sam. I gently grabbed Sam's face and tilted his head to the angle with mine. Leaning in closer to him, I brought my lips to his and kissed him deeply. I didn't know if this would help, but it was how he got his energy before. I shut my eyes, waiting for the draining feeling to reappear in my body. Sam didn't move, nor did I feel energy drain from me. I opened my eyes and saw Sam staring wide-eyed at me, but unmoving. He was unsure of what to do, and I had to silence him with confusion. I don't know why, but I felt both irritated and accomplished at the question, at the look he was giving me. Where was his flirting? Where was his cocky smirk? From what I remember, he took advantage of me when we met, yet now he was somehow intimidated by me. I pulled away and spoke. I want to give you some of my energy. You used a lot of it. I'm sure the energy you took from me was only used for healing. Let me help you.
I don't...
Sam, if you don't want my energy, just tell me. But I'm offering it to you if you do. All of a sudden, I felt that familiar feeling of warmth run through my body once again. I felt my body slightly heat up as Sam pulled my body tighter to his. He regained his stoic gaze before speaking.
Just remember, you offered it.
Before I knew it, Sam pulled me into a gentle but passionate kiss. Heat erupted through my body as his kiss slowly and almost timidly got deeper. Sam kept his arms around my waist while I rested my hands on his chest. The energy from my body was slowly draining from the kiss, making me feel light and warm. It was almost pitiful how comfortable and how willing I was in this situation. Still, I held no regrets. I was enjoying every bit of this kiss. Sam gently leaned back, pulling me along with him so that I was laying on top of him. I felt odd yet comfortable to be the one in control. Sam wasn't as forceful as he was when we first met, and it felt almost magical. It was how I imagined the first kiss to be like, except with energy drain. Soon, though, the energy drain stopped, and Sam gently pushed my face away to end the kiss. I stared down at him as we both panted for air. I had never kissed him like that before, and I was so lost in the moment that I forgot how to breathe. Sam moved a strand of hair from my face to behind my ear, eyes still full of desire. The look in Sam's eyes, though, I almost couldn't find the strength to pull away. I could feel the hold of his mind-altering spell fade away, but I still felt hot. Something told me that I wanted more, but at the same time I wasn't sure if I truly did want to give any more. Keep going. I opened the opportunity, and I was enjoying it as much as he was. I wanted more, and I was going to let him keep going. I wanted to keep going. I leaned down and kissed him again. Sam gasped against my lips, but continued to kiss back. I could feel him pull on the tail of my bow, releasing it and following his hand off from around my neck. He moved the ribbon to his pocket before gently unbuttoning the top 2 buttons of my blouse. Oh my. The desire in my body drove me insane, forcing a moan to escape my lips as he ran kisses from my lips down to my exposed neck. As he began to ravish my neck and shoulders in hot kisses, I leaned my head back and let out a pleasurable sigh escape my lips. Sam was ruthless in his passionate kisses on my skin. Sam didn't stop touching and kissing me, making more moans and gas rush out of my mouth into the open air. He may have been full, but he was as hot as I was. I couldn't even comprehend how much time we spent making out. I was so lost in the pleasure that I didn't care. Call it sinful, but I don't care. I loved it, his touch, his kiss, his heat. I desired it beyond anything at that moment, even as he lowered his kisses down my chest to just above my bra. My heart was beating wildly in my chest. Something about Sam intrigued me immensely, but something made my heart quicken for him. It couldn't have been love, but it was too passionate to be lust. What was it? However, I began to feel dizzy. Seeing this guy start to spin almost wildly, I gripped to Sam's shoulders, trying to signal him to stop, but my mind faded to black before I could let out another sigh. It felt good. I didn't care that I was blacked out. I felt warm and fuzzy in the darkness. I never knew indulging in that kind of passion would be that good. I now just waited to awaken, hopefully in a good way. My eyes eventually fluttered open, adjusting to the sight around me. I felt familiar silks underneath me, letting me know that I was in my bed. I slowly sat up, stretching from the tiredness that still lingered. I felt a very soft pain on my neck and shoulders, and I could feel my swollen lips pulse gently in the healing. However, when I looked down at my body, I saw that my shirt had been pulled back up and rebuttoned as if nothing had happened between me and Sam. I was just missing my ribbon. Before I turned to get out of bed, though, I spotted my ribbon on the pillow beside the one I slept on. It was tied in a nice bow with a small note attached to it. I gently slipped the note from the tie and opened it to read it.
Sorry, I went a little too far.
I stared at the note, letting a small smile grace my lip. He went too far. I enjoyed it, despite the first-time circumstances. It was cute, though, to imagine him thanking me for something we both did and enjoyed. I brought the note to his chest, letting the memories of our meeting flood my mind. I indulged myself too, Sam. I looked at the time out of curiosity. The large white numbers on my phone showed 5:31 p.m. Yikes, 4 hours of being knocked out, and I still feel tired. It was Sunday, so I was allowed to sleep longer if I wanted to. The remainder of the night passed by, surprisingly uneventful. The boys continued to train with each other, but were kind enough to stop and make me dinner. I was glad for that. Unsurprisingly, the food was perfect, but it felt a little empty without the boys to eat with me. They most likely had already eaten, but still I felt lonely. I couldn't let it bother me. I ate and went back to my room to study and sleep. Surprisingly, I felt good going to bed that night. I felt like I could have had a peaceful sleep after the previous nights I had. I felt good. I drifted to sleep and woke up almost flawlessly the next morning. No grogginess, no aches, perfectly energized and bright-eyed. And this is where we're going to stop for today. So, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. If you have something to say, please leave a comment. And if you would like to see more, please subscribe, and I will see you all next time.